This summer, the sun isn't the only thing heating up on the shores of San Pedro. Island love is back. 7 islanders, all returning, hotter, messier, and twice as bold. You remember the fire starter, the heartbreaker, the wild card, and the host who always brings the heat. Well, guess what? They're all back. From beachside betrayals to poolside passion to truths that drop like bombs. Every week brings a new twist and one secret that could ruin everything. So the question is, who's here for real love? And who's just here to win the game? This is Island Love, Season 7, the Belizean spinoff. And Paradise? It just got dangerous. The heat of San Pedro clung to the skin like a lover's touch, sticky, seductive, and impossible to ignore. As the golden sun slipped behind the Belizean horizon, a sleek black boat sliced through the water, ferrying 7 familiar faces back to the island where everything had gone down last summer. Jasmine stood barefoot on the dock in a flowing white dress, wind tugging at her curls. As the beloved hostess of Island Love, her smile was warm but carried an edge. "Welcome back, Islanders," she said as the cast stepped off one by one. "San Pedro missed you, but I wonder if you missed each other." Zaria was first to saunter onto the shore, her hips swaying with that same dangerous confidence. Last season, Trevin had left her reeling, and now she was back for clarity, or maybe revenge. "New island, same bad decisions," she muttered with a sly grin. Trevin followed, sunglasses low on his nose, flashing a grin that had once made half the villa fall in love. He glanced at Zaria. "Round 2?" he teased. She didn't flinch. "Keep dreaming." Kobe was next, backpack slung over his shoulder and optimism shining in his eyes. He'd been the peacemaker last season, the guy everyone trusted, until Lena called him out for being too agreeable. This time he was determined to show a little edge. Lena, of course, was already sipping a cocktail on a beach lounger when the others arrived, legs crossed and eyes calculating. "I see we're bringing all our unfinished business back," she said without looking up. Damien appeared like a shadow, all black tank and gold chains, his energy a cocktail of charm and chaos. He gave Jasmine a smirk. "I'm just here to keep it interesting." Keeks, last to arrive, nearly tripped over her own sandals and immediately cracked a joke about the heat. "Is it the weather, or are y'all just that fine?" The others laughed, but Zaria gave her a once-over. "Still corny, huh?" That night, the group settled into the newly remodeled villa, complete with a swim-up bar, fire pit, and open-air bedrooms that practically begged for late-night secrets. As they gathered on the patio, Jasmine reappeared on screen with her signature smirk. "This season," she said, "comes with a twist. Every week, one of you will get a truth revealed, one secret, one consequence, and every secret changes the game." The Islanders shifted uneasily. "Oh, and there's a recoupling tomorrow. One of you won't even make it past the first night." Gasps. Zaria's eyes narrowed. Trevin glanced at Lena. Damien smirked like he knew something no one else did. Kobe's jaw tightened. Keeks raised her glass. "Let the games begin." Morning on San Pedro was nothing short of paradise. But in the villa, the tension was already cutting through the salt air like a blade. Zaria woke early, stepping out to the terrace in silk shorts and a matching crop top, coffee in hand, and drama on her mind. She wasn't here to wait. She was here to claim. Her eyes scanned the beach for Trevin, and when she spotted him doing push-ups shirtless by the water, her mouth twisted into a smirk. Let him sweat. Inside the villa, Lena was getting ready with military precision. Hair curled, lashes on, lips painted coral. She wasn't interested in rekindling old flames. She was playing the long game, and she had her eye on Damien this time. "Let me guess," Lena said, walking past him in the kitchen. "You came back for redemption?" Damien raised an eyebrow, pouring himself coffee without breaking eye contact. "Redemption's for guilty people." Their stare-off lingered just long enough to spark flames. Meanwhile, Kobe and Keeks were out by the pool, lounging and watching the madness unfold. "She's already in predator mode," Keeks said, nodding toward Zaria. "Zaria's always in predator mode," Kobe replied. "It's the prey she hasn't decided on yet." Just then, Jasmine's voice echoed through the villa from the announcement screen above the pool. "Islanders, gather at the fire pit. It's time for your first secret drop." Everyone froze. They assembled quickly, hearts racing. Jasmine appeared, glowing and composed as ever. "This season, every week, the island will reveal a secret. One of yours. Today's secret belongs to—" She paused. "Trevin." Trevin's smirk faltered. Jasmine continued. "Last season, Trevin told Zaria she was the only one for him. But what he didn't tell her was he flew to L.A. after the show ended to meet up with Lena, and stayed the night." Gasps. Zaria's face went stone cold. Lena's lips curled into something smug. Damien blinked in surprise. Kobe and Keeks exchanged a stunned look. Zaria stood up slowly, walked over to Trevin, and dumped her mimosa onto his lap. "Hope she was worth it," she said, then walked off barefoot, glass crunching underfoot. Trevin ran a hand over his face, caught between shame and ego. "It wasn't like that," he said, glancing at Lena. "Oh, don't look at me," Lena said. "We had a nice time. You didn't mention Zaria then either." Keeks broke the silence. "Y'all are messy, and I love it." As night fell, the first recoupling loomed. One islander would be going home. With trust already broken and alliances fractured, everyone scrambled. Lena pulled Damien aside. Zaria pulled Kobe for a chat. Keeks flirted with everyone. And Trevin? He stood alone by the fire pit, watching Zaria whisper with Kobe, wondering if he'd just blown his second chance before it even started. This wasn't a vacation anymore. It was war. As the sun slid beneath the horizon, casting a honey-gold glow over San Pedro, the tension inside the villa simmered like a boiling pot with no lid. It was recoupling night, and no one knew who was safe. The fire pit was lit, the wine was flowing, and Jasmine's voice rang out from the speakers once more. "Islanders, it's time. Tonight, the ladies will choose. One of the men will be leaving the island. Permanently." Zaria stood tall, her skin glowing under the tiki lights, her jaw clenched like she was holding back fire. Her eyes flicked between Trevin, still sulking in guilt, and Kobe, who'd been sweet, sincere, and very available. Jasmine's voice continued. "Zaria, you're up first." She stepped forward slowly, dramatically, because that's how Zaria always made her entrance. "This man is thoughtful, kind, and didn't lie to my face last season, or fly to L.A. and sneak into someone else's bed." Trevin's eyes dropped. The damage was done. Zaria looked straight at Kobe. I choose Kobe. Gasps. Trevin exhaled sharply. Kobe nodded respectfully but kept it cool, even as Keeks elbowed him with a wink. Next up, Lena. She looked every bit the queen of calculated chaos, heels dug into the sand, a mischievous glint in her eyes. I'm choosing someone who doesn't just bring heat, but brings challenge and a little bit of danger. She paused just long enough to let the suspense hit everyone like a wave. I choose Damien. Damien grinned, slow and devilish. Knew you would. Trevin's eyes darted between Lena and the empty space beside him. Alone again. The man who once had the pick of the villa was being picked over. Hard. Keeks leaned over to Trevin and whispered, Bro, you might want to start packing. Next up, Keeks, Trevin, and Kobe stood waiting while Jasmine's voice returned. Final choice, Keeks or Trevin. The decision belongs to Lena. Everyone blinked. What the hell? Zaria said. She already picked Damien. Jasmine's voice echoed again. Plot twist. One girl gets a second pick. Welcome to season 7. Lena arched a brow and slowly walked around the fire pit, eyes locked on Keeks and Trevin. Keeks smiled like she was about to host a party. Trevin looked like he'd just been asked to jump off a cliff. I could go safe, or I could go spicy, Lena said. But let's be real. Safe is boring. She turned to Keeks. Come sit with me, baby. The villa erupted. Trevin stood there, jaw clenched, chest rising and falling fast. Jasmine reappeared on screen. Trevin, your time on the island is over. You have 10 minutes to say your goodbyes. Zaria didn't even look at him. Lena crossed her legs and leaned into Damien's shoulder. Keeks threw a peace sign and said, No hard feelings, big guy. Trevin turned, picked up his bag, and without a word, walked back down the beach into the dark. As his silhouette vanished into the night, Jasmine's voice returned one last time. Oh, and islanders, tomorrow, a new bombshell arrives. Sleep tight. The morning after the recoupling was quiet, but not peaceful. The villa had shifted. The air was thicker. Trevin was gone, and no one, not even Zaria, seemed surprised by how fast the island moved on. Zaria lounged by the pool in a turquoise bikini, sipping watermelon juice like she hadn't iced out her ex just 12 hours ago. Kobe sat beside her, his knee brushing hers under the table. It wasn't an accident. You good? He asked, voice low. I'm great, she said, especially now that the trash took itself out. Elsewhere, Lena and Damien shared a steamy moment in the open-air shower. Lips locked, hands wandering, water cascading down their perfectly sculpted bodies. It was hot, it was heavy, and it was loud enough for half the villa to hear. Keeks, meanwhile, was journaling on the deck in the worst fake British accent imaginable. Day 4. Still tragically handsome, still wildly unappreciated. Just then, the speaker crackled. Jasmine's voice came through. Islanders, please gather at the beach entrance. Your first bombshell has arrived. The villa exploded into motion. Zaria grabbed her lip gloss. Lena flipped her hair. Damien smirked. Kobe looked confused. Keeks muttered, Plot twist, I'm the bombshell. But nothing prepared them for what was waiting on that shore. A tall, curvy woman stood in the sand wearing a lime green swimsuit, sheer sarong, and heels no sane person wears on a beach. Her dark curls framed a flawless face, and her smile was dangerous, the kind that said she didn't just want love, she wanted blood. Islanders, Jasmine's voice said. Meet Noelle. She's 29 from Atlanta, a certified heartbreaker, and she's here to steal someone's man. Or woman. Kobe swallowed hard. Zaria's eye twitched. Noelle waved sweetly, then added, I came for two things, sun and drama. Y'all better not disappoint. Later, back at the villa, the bombshell was already making waves. She pulled Kobe for a private chat. You look like a good guy, she purred. You one of those heartbreaks in disguise? Kobe flushed. I try to be honest. Zaria stood across the yard watching. He better try not to die, she muttered. Then Noelle found Keeks in the pool, floating like a clueless otter. What's your deal? She asked. I'm the comic relief with a hidden romantic side, Keeks said, straight-faced. She blinked. That might actually work. Later that night, Jasmine delivered another twist. Noelle, as our bombshell, you have 24 hours to choose any islander to couple up with. Anyone. If you do, their current partner will be instantly single. A collective gasp. Zaria stood up like a lioness ready to pounce. Lena smiled like she'd been ready for this. Noelle raised her glass. Let the games begin. Keeks never saw herself as the center of attention. Sure, she was the funny one, the life of the party, always cracking jokes and keeping the vibes light. But love? That was trickier. She'd been overlooked last season. Too chill, too goofy, too unpredictable. But now, all eyes were on her. Noelle stood in front of the fire pit, her hips cocked, a fierce smile on her lips. The islanders were bracing for her to choose Damien, or maybe Kobe. No one was expecting what she said next. I choose Keeks. You could hear the collective blink. Zaria choked on her drink. Lena dropped her lip gloss. Kobe muttered, damn, under his breath. Even Damien raised an eyebrow. But Keeks? She froze, mid-sip, wide-eyed. Me? She said, brows shooting up. Wait, you serious? Or this one of those truth or dare moments I missed? Noelle laughed, a low, sultry sound that carried all the way to the back of the villa. I don't play games, baby. I came here for a connection. And you? You're electric. The silence broke into murmurs and stares. Jasmine's voice rang from the speakers, clear and commanding. Noelle and Keeks, you are now officially coupled. Lena, you are now single. That stung. Lena, who had unofficially claimed Keeks as her backup flirt when Damien was moody, stood slowly. Her smile was tight. Wow, that's a bold move, she said, tone cold enough to frost glass. Keeks looked around, still stunned. Look, I didn't see that coming either, but I'm flattered. Kinda shook, but flattered. Noelle slid her arm around Keeks's waist and whispered, We'll talk in private. Back at the villa, the gossip was hotter than the Belize sun. Zaria pulled Lena aside. You good? She picked Keeks, Lena snapped. Out of everyone, Keeks. Zaria raised a brow. Don't come for her just 'cause someone finally noticed. Meanwhile, Noelle and Keeks settled into the daybed under the stars. I meant what I said, Noelle murmured. You've got this energy, fun, fearless, but you're guarded. I like peeling back the layers. Keeks looked at her, still cautious. I'm not used to girls like you seeing girls like me. Noelle leaned in, just inches from her lips. Then get used to it. Their kiss was soft at first, then deeper, and when they finally pulled apart, Keeks was breathless. That night, Lena lay awake, staring at the ceiling fan, seething. She thinks Keeks is electric, she muttered. Let's see how long that current lasts. Because Lena wasn't just playing to win love, she was playing to win the whole damn island. The next morning, the island woke slowly, golden rays spilling across the villa like a false promise of peace. But there was nothing peaceful brewing. Lena was already up, sipping black coffee in the kitchen, sunglasses on, revenge glowing off her skin like sunburn. She'd spent all night replaying Noel's smug smile and the way Keeks had kissed her back like it meant something, like she didn't. Well, that was about to change. By noon, the games began. Let's play Truth or Temptation, Lena announced, gathering the islanders on the patio. It wasn't an official Jasmine game, but no one dared say no to Lena when she was in a mood. The villa settled into a semicircle with shots lined up and a bowl of folded cards. One by one they drew. It started light. Kiss the last person you flirted with. Take a body shot off someone. Zaria ended up straddling Kobe. Damien dared Noel to lick salt off his abs. Keeks just rolled her eyes. Then Lena drew her card. Her eyes lit up as she read it silently, then looked straight at Keeks. It says, "Kiss the person you secretly wish had picked you at the last recoupling." Keeks blinked. Lena stood slowly, walked across the circle, and, without breaking eye contact, kissed Keeks. Hard, hot, long enough for Damien to raise an eyebrow and Noel to sit forward, her jaw clenched. When Lena pulled away, Keeks looked stunned. The whole group sat in silence until Zaria whispered, "Damn." Lena shrugged, feigning innocence. "Game's the game, right?" Noel didn't smile. Later that evening, the villa buzzed with whispers. In the makeup room, Zaria cornered Keeks. "Girl, be real. What's going on in that little bisexual blender of yours?" Keeks leaned on the counter, mascara wand in hand, eyes wide. "I don't know. Noel makes me feel seen. But Lena, that kiss had history." Zaria smirked. "History's cute until it repeats itself and wrecks you. Choose wisely." Meanwhile, Noel found Lena on the balcony, alone, wine in hand. "You always stir trouble, or is this a special occasion?" Lena didn't flinch. "I stir truth. If Keeks still has feelings, I'm not going to ignore it." Noel stepped closer. "That wasn't a kiss. That was a threat." Lena sipped her wine. "Interpretation is subjective." That night, Jasmine's voice echoed across the villa once more. "Islanders, tomorrow is the compatibility challenge. The least compatible couple, according to your own votes, will be vulnerable for elimination. Choose wisely." As the camera panned out, Keeks stood on the rooftop alone, staring at the ocean. Noel was downstairs, stewing. Lena was inside, smirking to herself. 3 women, 1 flame. Only 2 would survive the fire. San Pedro woke hot and heavy, the kind of heat that made secret sweat to the surface. The compatibility challenge was scheduled for the afternoon, and tensions in the villa were like a match waiting to be struck. Keeks sat at the breakfast bar, flipping her spoon around in her oatmeal while Kobe and Zaria flirted shamelessly next to her. She wasn't jealous. She was distracted. Between Noel's slow burn intensity and Lena's scorched earth kiss, her heart was running laps around itself. "Still hungover from the make-out ambush?" Zaria asked, raising an eyebrow. Keeks groaned. I feel like I'm in a relationship with two fire alarms. One's hot and new and the other keeps going off randomly, but I'm used to it. Zaria snorted. Girl, pick the one that doesn't burn your whole kitchen down. Down by the beach, Jasmine's voice echoed through the villa speakers. Islanders, it's time for your first compatibility challenge. Get into your couples, the least compatible pair, as voted by your fellow islanders, will be vulnerable for elimination. Whispers, side eyes. The real game had begun. Challenge. Sink or sink. Each couple had to paddle across a lagoon in tandem, then complete a quiz based on how well they knew each other. Paddling together was awkward enough, but guessing your partner's favorite food or biggest insecurity while soaking wet, that was where the cracks really showed. Zaria and Kobe, smooth, in sync, laughing. They nailed the quiz and shared a victory kiss that had everyone groaning in envy. Damien and Lena, chaotic, sexy, and barely functional. They paddled in circles, shouted over each other during the quiz, and still managed to score high, probably because they both answered myself to who's the most jealous. Keeks and Noel? Tense. 2 tenths. They started strong, but by the time they reached the question, who would your partner choose to kiss if not you? Things fell apart. Keeks hesitated. Noel answered coldly. Lena. Keeks flinched. You didn't have to say it, she muttered, wiping water from her face. Noel stared ahead. Maybe if you'd stop acting confused, I wouldn't have to guess. The tension was thick enough to drown in. Back at the villa, the results were posted on the screen. Most compatible couple, Zaria and Kobe. Least compatible couple, Keeks and Noel gasps. Noel stood frozen. Keeks exhaled slowly, lips pressed tight. Jasmine's voice returned. Islanders, tonight you'll vote to save one member of the least compatible couple. The other will be sent home. The room exploded. What? Keeks said. We just got started. Noel folded her arms. Or maybe we were already ending. Keeks stared at her, eyes wide. Is that what this is? You came here for drama, and I'm just your story arc? Noel didn't answer. Later that night, everyone gathered at the fire pit for the vote. Keeks sat on one side alone, twisting a bracelet on her wrist. Noel sat across from her, perfectly still. Zaria whispered to Kobe, She doesn't deserve to go home like this. Lena, sipping her drink, said nothing, but her eyes never left Keeks. One by one, the islanders cast their votes. Jasmine's voice came one last time. Islanders, the votes are in. The islander who will be leaving San Pedro tonight is Noel. Silence. Keeks blinked. Noel stood, composed, beautiful, cold. She walked over to Keeks and whispered, Don't waste your time being unsure. People like you don't get many second chances. Then she turned and walked straight into the dark. As the waves crashed in the distance and fire crackled behind them, Lena slid onto the bench beside Keeks. Still confused? Keeks shook her head. No, she said, not anymore. The air was thick with salt, sweat, and something unspoken. Island Love Season 7 was coming to an end, and the remaining islanders were rattled. 1 week ago, they were just flirty strangers with unfinished business. Now, it was all raw feelings and razor-sharp stakes. The fire pit crackled as Jasmine's voice filled the night One last time. Islanders, tonight is the finale. You've made it through recouplings, secrets, temptation, and heartbreak. Now, you'll each stand before the group and decide, do you leave the island in a couple or walk away alone? Everyone froze. Zaria and Kobe exchanged a knowing glance. They were solid, fire and sweetness, opposites that somehow blended perfectly. The two held hands, stepped forward first. Zaria cleared her throat, that famous sass softening just slightly. Last season I left in tears. This season I'm leaving in love. I choose Kobe. Kobe beamed. Zaria's not easy to love, but damn, she makes it worth it. I'm leaving with her. Applause, a real one. Even Keeks stood to clap. Next up, Damien and Lena. They walked up together, but stood just far enough apart to raise eyebrows. I came here to stir the pot, Damien said, grinning. But Lena, you lit the fire under it. Lena smirked, always composed. I didn't come here for love, but I did come for strategy, and Damien kept up with me every step of the way. Jasmine's voice chimed in. Lena, are you leaving with Damien? A pause, long enough to sweat. Then, yeah, I am. They kissed, fire and chaos bundled in silk and tattoos. And then it was Keeks's turn. Alone. She stepped into the firelight, breath shaky, hands balled into fists. I didn't come here expecting anything. I was the joke last season. The side character. This time I was seen. I was wanted, and I got burned. She looked around. Noelle taught me I deserve to be chosen. Lena taught me I have a voice. But what I learned most of all is that I don't need anyone to validate me. Gasps. Jasmine's voice was calm. So, Keeks, are you leaving alone? Keeks nodded slowly. Yeah, I am. But I'm leaving with my head high and my heart open. The group stood and clapped. Even Lena, who looked a little shaken. Later, as the boat pulled away from San Pedro, carrying the islanders across the water under a diamond-scattered sky, Zaria and Kobe cuddled on one side, Lena and Damien exchanged teasing whispers on the other, and Keeks stood at the edge, wind in her hair, smiling to herself. She didn't win the game. She won something better, herself. And just like that, another season comes to a close. On the beaches of San Pedro, hearts were open, lines were crossed, and love, well, it came at a price. They came looking for connection. Some found it, some faked it, and some, they found themselves. Zaria lit the fire. Keeks claimed her power. Lena played the game. And Jasmine, as always, kept the heat turned all the way up. But on this island, nothing stays buried for long. Lies float, secrets surface, and love always leaves a scar. This was Island Love, Season 7, the Belizean spin-off. Until next time, keep your heart hot. Don't go breaking hearts. Hit that like button if you're living for the drama. Subscribe to stay locked in with every twist, and drop your favorite couple in the comments below, because on Island Love, you never know who's next to get burned.